What to Play presents the top 15 free Steam games of 2019 so far, arranged by PlayScore. The PlayScore is an average of gamer and critic ratings. When a game only reaches the minimum required critic or gamer reviews, it receives a provisional rating. Number 15. The Defender, Farm and Castle. This free Steam game takes us back to the good old browser game days, when games didn't look like much, but offered full functionality that could last you at least a whole afternoon's entertainment. The Defender is just that, harkening back to the addictive base defense games of that era. Play the archer and mount a defense against the many monsters that comes towards your castle. Upgrade and build weapons and potions by day, and shoot it out non-stop till nightfall. While it's short and not all that strategic, it's perfect for casuals with a few hours to kill. It has a provisional play score of 8.79. Number 14. Neon Boost. Ever wondered what it feels like to be in an 80s music video? Neon Boost is your best chance with its neon-lit sci-fi stage and synthwave-inspired soundtrack. At its core, Neon Boost is a simple platformer game in which most of the challenge lies in clearing the stage as fast as you can. Shoot through the walls and use the same gun to give you a boost through those difficult jumps. For a free game, it's pretty loaded with content. It has 3 different worlds to choose from, and 72 levels, which gets ever so slightly harder as you go. For cyber fans with a flair for neon acrobatics, it gets a score of 8.79. Number 13. Himno. At just over 70 megabytes, Himno has a few shining features. First off is its gorgeous-looking pixel art style that melds well with its flowy soundtrack, creating that perfect relaxing environment for exploring the many procedurally generated maps. Relaxing is pretty much Himno's main goal. There aren't many enemies to defeat. It's a straight-up platformer in which you collect wisps, gain levels, and navigate through their dark dungeons with a variety of power-ups. Its controls take a little getting used to, but for its value, Himno's flaws are very easy to overlook. Gets a provisional play score of 8.83. Number 12. Minion Masters. As a PvP real-time battle card, Minion Masters will be familiar to anyone who's ever played Supercell's super popular Clash Royale. But Minion Masters one-ups their mobile counterpart with some really polished visuals. It almost feels like a game from Riot Games' studio, which is saying a lot considering it's by an independent Danish studio, Bearded Dwarf Entertainment. As for gameplay, it's easy to get a hang of Minion Masters. Just unleash the monsters on your hand on your opponent and pick the best strategy for surviving the waves ahead. Balance is a little unreliable these days. Minion Masters remains worth checking out though, with a provisional rating of 9. Number 11. Home. 12 minutes is a short time, but it's worth every second in Home. It's a walking simulator that takes you through a series of procedurally generated scenes in which your interactions form the basis for a heartwarming game about what home means to you. And there's always a different poem waiting for you every time, depending on the journey you took. For some, the game's calm environment is ultimately enough to move them into reflecting on their own lives, whether sad, happy, or hopeful. It's not exactly a full game, but Home's message is something you can carry along with you throughout your days. And maybe that's enough. It has a rating of 9.3. Number 10. When the Darkness Comes. This next one's also a walking simulator, but now you should forget all about relaxation. When the Darkness Comes gives you another kind of thing that you can bring around long after the game's done, and that thing is a whole load of sadness and fear. The game is essentially a representation of the creator's own dark psyche, which is why it offers such a unique brand of horror that might not be for everyone. If there are any warnings you should heed, it's the warnings in this game. Beautifully haunting, it also has a way of giving voice to the various dark thoughts within our own minds. It has a provisional play score of 9.7. Number 9. Unsung Warriors, Prologue. More of a demo than an actual game, this prologue to Osarion's indie adventure does give players a worthwhile look at what's to come. Unsung Warriors is packed with both fun platforming and engaging combat. Set in a fictional 2D European Iron Age, its simple cartoony style might not win it any awards anytime soon, But it does work well in adding the fun Iron Age atmosphere while also making it accessible to even the most low-end laptops and devices. And the local co-op is the perfect cherry on top. Prologue is pretty solid for a demo and it fulfills its purpose of showcasing how promising their full release will be. It gets a score of 9.14.
I pity you. The human condition is a sickness.
Number 8. Enderal, Forgotten Stories. Skyrim was just too good to be a standalone, so the modding community decided to make this fan-made mod to pay respect to Bethesda's award-winning RPG. This total conversion mod has its own story and lore to tell, not to mention new landscapes that could rival Skyrim's vanilla launch. Its world, like its inspiration, is full of atmosphere, horrors, and wonder. With an overhauled gameplay and skill system, you can make your way across the treacherous medieval lands and learn about its unique cast of characters. Of course, you need to have Skyrim in your library to play this game, so it's not technically free per se. But come on, who doesn't own Skyrim at this point? For a community-made game, it receives a provisional play score of 9.15. Number 7. Coloring Game. Elstotch's anti-stress game is just what it is. It's a coloring book. You can animate the pixels by adding colors to each square inch. Once everything is in place, watch your creation come to life. There's no real challenge here. You don't go around beating bosses or complain about unfair hitboxes or rant about its difficulty. It's a game made to de-stress. You can select from its huge collection of artworks or buy the expansion packs to support the creators and add more content to increase your overall coloring game experience. This game receives a provisional score of 9.29. Number 6. Birdgut. A bizarre 2D platformer where you take control of a bee after being consumed by a bird. In a weird turn of events, the bird's internal organs aren't really organs. In fact, it's a mechanical factory where you do most of the puzzle solving and gameplay. Don't ask us why. It's quirky at most, especially with its adorable hand-drawn art style. Enjoy its physics-based platformer levels with secrets hidden in every corner. Meet other insect characters and escape from this crazy avian sweatshop. Compared to most of Steam's free platformers, this one stands out the most. The game receives a score of 9.34. Number 5. Mushroom Cats. We talked about this game on our previous video, and it continues to surprise us how they keep making it on our lists. As a simple point-and-click game with adorable cats, maybe that's the point. Set in the magical land of Toadstool, aid these furballs to survive the coming winter storm. You can dress them up, give them cute hats, and don't let the cold be their doom. There's not much to the game really. As a free title, it's justified. But you should totally save these feline furries from the cold. And who knows, we might see more of Toadstool in the possible future. It has a provisional play score of 9.40. Number 4. What Never Was. The influx of walking simulators set in someone's abandoned house is not surprising. Marie's Room, What Remains of Edith Finch, and Gone Home opened the doors to the unique storytelling found in each area of the household. What Never Was shares the same concept. You walk around the house, pick up some stuff, and have a deep existential crisis about things you never knew about your loved one.
I'll miss the stories. I'll miss him.
Tasked to clear your grandfather's attic, uncover mysteries and other family secrets.
What a globe. Huh. Grandpa sure had some cool stuff that I've never... Oh, okay. These can be pushed.
It's a casual point-and-click first-person gameplay that is still a relaxing treat, especially after a long, stressful day. What Never Was praised for its emotional story, visuals, and atmosphere. The only downside is that the game is only an hour long. It has a score of 9.42. Number 3. Missed Messages. Angela Hu's visual novel/romance title is an ode for millennials who are having a hard time trying to keep up with today's society. This is a game that's trying to express the concept of romance and mental health in a new light. Keeping up with the trends of 2019, numerous pop culture references and memes litter the game's dialogue to ease its poignant atmosphere. If the narrative doesn't get you, then Angela's fantastic art style is something you should appreciate within its 30-minute playtime. Every scene feels like a work of art, and despite its somber tones, the vibrant colors offer a moment of respite to the fate of these two individuals. It has a provisional score of 9.46. Number 2. Neon Beats. It's now rare to see 2D platformers with rhythm elements. Blending neon aesthetics and mad 2D parkour using polygons is something Okyo Games wants to achieve. As an indie title, it doesn't get much attention since it's a short game with not much replay value. However, the fun begins when you get to appreciate its great soundtrack and stellar particle effects. Every level offers a variety of challenges, but expect some ridiculous twists and some difficulty with spikes that might catch you off guard. Unfortunately, as a free title, it's only 30 minutes long depending on your playstyle. So, if you have half an hour to spare, this is something that you should consider playing. It has a score of 9.63. Number 1. Backbone, Prologue. It's odd seeing a free demo game on the top of the list, but the numbers don't lie. Eggnot's noir-inspired adventure puts you into the shoes of a raccoon detective sniffing out clues and solving mysteries. Despite its free tag, it makes up for it with its brilliant design and narrative. Set in a bleak dystopian world, traverse different districts and meet some of its anthropomorphic cast. Also packed with a smooth jazz soundtrack, every little question posed before you is a perfect setup for its atmosphere. There's a lot to digest here since this is obviously a teaser for what's to come. It receives a score of 9.63.